we felt taken for granted.
Right.
We left. I mean, there was no animosity, nothing bad going on. Just that we were just, we didn't feel special anymore.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
There was a time not so long ago you came to our side.
Thank you for being back on the show. There's two really big things that we obviously want to talk about. There's a reissue, and we're in the middle of touring, and you guys are coming to across the Atlantic. Before I do that, I do have to ask you, how did you like House of the Dragon so far?
I haven't watched it yet. We've been saving it for a special occasion. So we have had. So I watched everything together with my girlfriend, and we have The Last of Us. We're gonna watch next, I think, and I think it's gonna be House of Dragons after that, and then we have Andor, the Star Wars. The Star Wars series. So there are a couple of big ones that we haven't watched yet. So so I don't know. I've read the book, of course, but I haven't seen the series. But the book was really fascinating, I thought. It's very, very. It's kind of written in a weird way. I didn't think I was going to like it so much because it's written like a history book, kind of.
Yes.
But it was with anything. I've read almost everything that George R. Martin has written, like his. Novellas, the Dream. Well, it's a volume 1 and 2 of something, Dream Songs or whatever. I don't remember what he called them now, but it's like his short stories from when he was starting writing until whatever. It's from his whole life basically. They're so different, but they all have one thing in common: that you get an enthralled into the story after just a few pages. It's just it's an unbelievable storyteller.
Awesome. Is it maybe somewhat on a subconscious level that you're such a big fan that you are a little bit afraid to start watching the show?
I would, maybe on a subconscious level. I wanted to,
because you are a massive Game of Thrones fan.
Yes, I am. I love the books. I thought the series was very good as well. If you read the books, and it's not exactly the same as in the books, because the series does veer away sometimes with characters. I understand that. The only thing I don't like is when they change someone's character, like the character's character, too much.
Right.
Which I felt they did that with Stannis from Stannis Baratheon. I think in the book he's a very different character than he was portrayed on the series. So those things, but I also understand you have to do certain things for. They think that's the best for the story and for the series, so I understand why they do it.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe I don't. Maybe I have put off watching it actually now that I think about it for that reason exactly. But I will watch it. I will watch it for sure.
Of course you will. I mean, I know that I could ask you many questions about the world of George R. Martin, and you would be answering questions for hours and hours, I'm sure. But we do have to talk about Hammerfall. That's why we're here today. And two things in particular. Let's start with the Crimson Thunder reissue, and a 20-year anniversary album, 21 years really at this point. Time is ticking. I'm sure that you have different sentiments about that, but let's go back to that album, because this was such an important album for Hammerfall. Like, my journey with Hammerfall started before that. Legacy of Kings and Renegade was probably for me when I truly was introduced to the world of Hammerfall as a 16, 17-year-old kid. But then Crimson Thunder, all of a sudden Hammerfall was an institution in the world of heavy metal. And the whole scene had changed as well. Heavy metal was all of a sudden, it was okay to be into classic heavy metal again, followed by a live album that was really big for you guys as well. Looking back now, I know that you tend to like to look ahead and what's still to come for Hammerfall, but if you force yourself to look back at those days, what's the sentiment that comes back?
Well, Yeah, the like you said, it was an extremely important album for us. It sort of manifested what had happened. Glory to the Brave and Legacy of Kings for like they made an impact for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But with Renegade, that's when we found a whole new audience, like teenagers who hadn't really listened to metal before. And it's like, you know, case in point, maybe you, even if you had listened to metal before, but like you said, that's when he started. With Crimson Thunder, I think we sort of manifested that thing, that this was not just a fluke thing for us or for the fans, that people who bought Renegade stayed for Crimson Thunder and grew, even the audience grew for that. So I don't think you can really overstate the importance of Crimson Thunder for Hammerfall.
The Crimson Thunder album came out basically smack in the middle between Brave New World, where Bruce Dickinson goes back to Iron Maiden. Right after Crimson Thunder, we've get Halford goes back to Judas Priest, and obviously those were seismic moments in metal, but those also happened because there was something brooding for classical metal again, and all of a sudden, you know, bands like Hammerfall are on the covers of magazines, where in the 90s that would have been Limp Bizkit or System of a Down.
Exactly.
Did that? I mean, it's always easy now to look back, especially if it's 20 years ago, and talk about that. But in that moment when you are a younger self, a younger version of yourself, does that register that like that you're in the middle of something very special, or does that come in hindsight?
When I think back, I was not aware of all these variables back then. Partly because I was much more living for the moment in those days. Plus, it was so unexpected that it would become so big that I had trouble maybe used to it and realizing exactly what the scope was of this, what we were doing.
Right.
And with the Crimson Thunder, it was such a big, with Hearts on Fire, it was such a big breakthrough to establish Hammerfall that this now I'm just words here, but what really is because I didn't spend a lot of time thinking. That's what it basically what it is. You know, I never spent a lot of time pondering where I am in life or you know where we're going or whatever. I was just enjoying like doing something I absolutely loved and loving doing it together with the band members and just living the dream basically. So I never really reflected. I'm not a good reflection guy, really. I've never been. It comes a little bit better with age, I guess. You know, once you past 40, I guess it was for me. I started looking a little bit like, or reflecting a little bit more of what I was and where we were going, what was happening. But never really before that, I don't think. You know, it was just that was just the kind of person I was.
Now, you say, I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to have fun. Have you ever had more fun in your career than when you were shooting the Hearts on Fire video curling on the ice against the Swedish national women's team?
We saw the writings on the wall when heathens ruled above us all, tormented.
We have had more fun, but it was certainly one of the highlights for sure. Because like this was in early January, I think, 2000. So 4 years after Hearts on Fire was already out, like it was already our like anthem, so to speak. And so for us, like we approached that thing with the this was not, we were just hired guns, so to speak. This was not a Hammerfall video. This was like the curling team's video with our song and us in it. But it didn't have anything to do with like the script or what was going on or what was happening. They checked with us to make sure it was okay, but we never interfered or, you know, it's just whatever they want to do, we do. And so, because we had already had success, we had a proper video with Hearts on Fire, we toured with it, you know, and everything. It was out for a while. So for us, this was 100% a fun thing to do. And to be involved with the Olympics in any way, shape or form was incredible for us. So we really enjoyed that very, very much.
painful the next day, I assume.
Well, curling in itself, playing curling is fucking hard.
I know.
It's really difficult. This was in a curling arena, so there was many different curling lanes, or I don't know what the terminology is, but so when they were shooting maybe the curling girls on one, we were free to do whatever we wanted on the other ones. So we tried to shoot a few stones. And like 99% of all of them just went bam into the barrier behind, because everybody did it too hard. It was really difficult to make it. Then we tried to crack some of them, but that was also not very easy. So we just tried to, as hard as we could. But it was really fun. Like you said, it was a really fun time because it was so stress-free. For us, it didn't matter what was happening really, because we already had a proper video for Hearts on Fire out. So this was just a fun thing to do. Plus, like I said, the Olympics is big, so for us,
for sure.
For most people, I think it is, but for us, it was extremely cool.
Hearts on Fire, another thing that is really unique about this re-release, you shared a quick video on Instagram recently about that. There are some old pre-production recordings, and Hearts on Fire was for you the moment you realized you're not going to replace Joachim as a singer ever?
No, I think that was the moment I realized that was the first time I heard him sing. I think. No, it's never. I mean, he's... the thing was with Hearts on Fire for this, because we did a pre-production maybe 2 months before the actual recording of the album, and Hearts on Fire was not really completed at that time. It wasn't done yet. The music was there, some of the melodies and some of the lyrics, but Joachim was not comfortable singing it because he felt he had too much left to do before he wanted to but I really wanted to hear what it sounded like, so we recorded the music. I was kind of hoping, I think, that maybe he will do it anyway, or whatever, you know, but it never happened. So he said, I think he just sort of said, if you want to sing it, I mean, if you want to have it, sing it yourself, basically. Not in a bad, like, negative way, just I'm not going to do it. So, you know, and so I did. It was really fun, but it's also not. If you hear it, it's not going to be. You're not going to go away like you said. Wow, you know. So Hammerfall has a backup when Joachim leaves. It's definitely not that. You know, I don't really sing very well, and especially that register. His register is so strong for me because he's up here, and I have to struggle so much just to maintain the notes up there. But I do. If I have to be honest, I think it was an okay. I mean, it doesn't sound anything like Joachim. It sounds strained and hard, you know, not great in any way. But it also doesn't sound terribly out of tune all the time, or you know, it could be worse, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think you described it on Instagram as not completely horrible, but definitely not great.
I think that sums it up pretty well.
Now, when we think about Crimson Thunder, that was also and did return after the Crimson adversary of Hector. Whatever happened to him over the years?
I don't know. I think if I remember correctly, Sam, the cover art, Sam Weiss, DDA, it was his first work with Hammerfall, so he hadn't done anything before with us. And I think he painted or drew the album cover first. When Hearts on Fire was supposed to come out, like the single comes out before, obviously. So, and then he sort of made because Hector was fighting somebody on the Crimson Thunder cover, and then he made sort of like the adversary, his birth or whatever. And there's a line on, I think it's in Trailblazers. The song Trailblazers that Joachim sings, the Lake of Fire, something like that. And that's why there's a Lake of Fire on the Hearts on Fire single cover. So he's sort of being born out of the Lake of Fire or whatever. But And I think we talked about doing something with him like on the next album, but before that happened, I broke my arm, and we had to take a bit of a break. So there was a couple of years before the next album, and I think by then we had moved on, so to speak. You know, we had other ideas there and what we wanted to do. But that's a good idea. Maybe I'm going to talk to Sam. Maybe he wants to resuscitate, because the adversary doesn't have a name either. Like Hector.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
No, he doesn't have a name, but Hector got his name during the album recording for Crimson Thunder, actually.
Oh,
so
really?
That's how he got his name. So Nuclear Blast had a competition. You can like come up with a name for Hector, or for the Hammerfall warrior, I think they called it. Yeah. And if they choose your name, you get to fly down to the album recording and sing background vocals on Hearts on Fire, I think it was, or something like that. I mean, 1 or 2 songs maybe. And so we got a lot of names. Most of them we were like, really? You know, like not really great. But then Hector was sort of fitting because of the the Odyssey and
the Trojan War,
whatever classic tale story he's in, with the Trojan War thing. So it was kind of cool. He was already a warrior, and it sort of fit him in a weird way. I didn't see him as a Hector at first, but I came around to it, and it's a really good name for him. So this guy that came up with this was a German guy called Christoph Lutz, and he came down to Tenerife where we were recording the album. And singing a couple of songs, sing background vocals. I think it was Hearts on Fire and maybe Riders of the Storm, but I'm not sure about that. I think that says in the credits for the album. I think it says what he sang on, but it was 1 or 2 songs anyway.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to get to my my copy back in my. I know that my parents still have my room, still has my teenage room completely with the whole wall of CDs. So I have to go into that. The first time I ever saw you guys play was with the Renegade tour when you played in Antwerp when Freedom Call and Virgin Steel were opening up for you.
Right.
That must have been 2000? 2001 maybe?
2001. We did the tour for that. We started on January 11th in Gothenburg.
Right.
That was the first date, and then it ran for 7 weeks, which was a very long tour for us, longer than we had done before, and longer than we felt comfortable doing after that. Also, it was a long tour, that one. We after that, I think we split it up. We split up the tour, so we did 3 weeks and 1 week break, and then 3 weeks after that. We've done that a couple of times too. But now it's too expensive to do it like that. Now we have to sort of plow through it.
For sure. And to which is a great segue to obviously touring, and to make the circle beautifully round. At that tour, Freedom Call had Sasha Gessner as a guitar player, who's now with Helloween. And when you were saying we were in Tenerife recording an album, that was with Andy Darris' studio.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that was also the moment that you were introduced to Game of Thrones by Andy himself. So it all comes together at the end of the day. So let's talk about this tour. When we last spoke, you were talking about this was in the anticipation of this tour finally going to start at some point. It was roughly a year ago that we spoke. At the end of as the world started to open up a little bit, and then it was. I remember you saying, like, I just can't wait to see what that anticipation is going to be for both the crowd and for ourselves when that first note on that first show is going to get played. So in the meantime, you've played many shows. How was that first note at that first show? What was that like?
I'd like to say I remember it, but I don't, to be honest. No, the first show was in Manchester in England.
Yes.
London. That was Manchester, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And because I had isolated pretty hard during the pandemic, so I really didn't go anywhere, do anything.
Yeah.
I was with my family all the time for as much as I could. And every time I ever saw somebody was outdoors. So we were outside, like in a park or whatever, stuff like that, So being under the same roof of like 2,500 people in this, club or venue of some kind. It was a little bit freaky, so I don't really remember much from that. I remember the show. The audience was livid. I mean, they were really, really happy and excited, as were we. So I guess that was, that sort of was what I expected. But I don't remember feeling what I talked about. Because I remember talking about this. I just don't remember feeling that same, because I think it was too weird for me to be on stage or in the same room with so many people at the same time when I had seen nobody for 2 years.
How has that evolved to today? Because you've played now many shows already. You are going to play so many shows still. You're going to be busy for quite a while. Has that completely faded out? And does it feel like the last few years was just kind of like a mirage, and almost like, did it happen? Did it not happen? Because, time seems to be blurry in the last couple of years. How do you feel today?
Oh, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, actually, because it feels like the pandemic is only a year away. Like a year ago, they just started lifting the restrictions. Maybe a little bit more than a year ago, like 13 months or something like that. And that year feels twice as long as the actual pandemic did, I think. The pandemic went pretty fast when you think about it, because it was just the same the whole. I mean, we were waiting and waiting, but it was also not much happening. And this year we crammed so much things, like so many shows and so much stuff into the year, that it's gone really slow. I feel it's at least when I reflect upon it. Yeah. But that to get rid of that feeling that we had on the first show, it took really quick. It went away really quickly. It didn't take long at all. Maybe if I think about it, it might have only been that first or second show. After that, it was more or less gone. Oh, wow. Maybe I'm misremembering it a little bit. It faded out slower than that, I think. But it was never strong, really. Just the first night was a bit strong, in the first moment when you realize what you're doing.
Right.
But after that, it was not a problem. No problem at all.
One other news story that has happened as well is you are sort of, back home now with Nuclear Blast. You re-signed, which will make some of these reissues probably a little easier that are going on. You were at Napalm for a while, but obviously you, for the longest time, you were one of the signature Nuclear Blast bands. That label has changed as well, and a lot of people are different people. And today that label globally seems to be a little bit more focused on modern American metal, at least on this side of the Atlantic, than it used to be in the mid 2000s, when it was very much a power and black metal kind of thing. What's it like? Does it feel like coming home, or is it sort of like a new relationship?
Both things, I think, actually. For us, like you said, we were with them, I think, 17 years or something. It's a long-ass time with the same label. It's the only label we ever had before Napalm. So for us, it does feel like coming home a little bit. But also, because of what you said, there are people who have left. There are new guys there. There's a bigger organization. But there are also some people that we know, we have known since the 90s. They're still working there. So it was... I didn't realize or anticipate that I was going to feel so happy being back with them. I thought it was going to be more, this is a net label, a great label, good for business and stuff. But it really does feel like a family for us, because we have that long history for it with them, And when we did this sort of, how do you say, like the official announcement sort of thing. We had signed the contract already before that, but we did a fake weigh-in for the MMA guys. Yeah, exactly. So they took pictures and filmed and shit. But then they also brought us like a big commemorative from the all the albums that they had with Hammerfall, which was up until Revolution, with all those, and then put them together, and it's like sold or whatever the hell, I don't remember the number, but it's really nice plaque kind of thing it's kind of like a gold album thing, but with everything on it. Diamond, I think they call it Diamond Award or something like that, whatever, I don't remember. But for all of them together. And then also they revealed that Crimson Thunder had gone platinum, which is
Yes.
pretty amazing in Sweden. That's our only platinum album, and that's not common. I don't think common in metal to get a platinum album. So we were very, very proud of that one. And they also had counted out that what's it called? Chapter 5 and Bent and Bowed and Broken had gone gold as well. So we got 2 more to put that that list. So they really took care. Like, it feels like they care a lot more, which was part of the reason we left. We felt taken for granted.
Right.
We left. I mean, there was no animosity, nothing bad going on. Just that we were just, we didn't feel special anymore. And Napalm made us feel special in the negotiations. So that's why we chose Napalm. But now when we're back with Nuclear Blast, it feels right. And it also feels like they very much wanted to have us back. Like, it was not just, of course, it's a good business deal for them. I mean, they're a record label, so they won't do this just to be friends, They don't do it to make us happy. But because we both get along and both can work together, it can make both profitable. This relationship profitable for both parties is what I mean. But it's also on a personal level. Well, I don't know. I can't really speak for them. But it feels like that way. It feels like those who were back in the 90s were still there. They feel this is right as well, that we are back with them. So I think I'm really looking forward to it. The little dealings we had with them so far have been extremely positive and professional. This is a label. The label we left, a much smaller label than they are right now. So now they are a big powerhouse in a way that they weren't before. Like, before, it felt like they were more. I mean, they weren't happy amateurs, of course, because they had, but they were still on that side. Like, now, when I think it's Believe, they're called the who purchased the Nuclear Blast from Marcus Steiger. They have sort of this whole setup and this whole machine that wasn't there before. In terms of promotion and social media and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this partnership. Really, really, honestly, very much, actually. It feels great to be back.
You see, I don't want to break this happy feeling with more questions about anything else. Oscar, I want you to have that time in the Easter break with your family at your cottage. It sounds like a lovely time before you have to go back on the road and take the whole show with both with Helloween and then also obviously some solo shows or headliner shows, solo headliner shows that you'll have. And I think we're going to see you on many, many stages this year still. So exciting times. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you on a stage soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the interview. It was a real pleasure, as always.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.